Okay, I think everything is turned on. Hi everybody, hope everybody's having a good week. This is going to be a really fast video because I think pretty much everything's been said that I wanted to say. I was a little bit late on my quick discussion post this week. What was the first question? What if anything was the most surprising? The documentary, I don't know how I had never watched that before. It was really good, and I honestly wish I would have watched it sooner, like earlier, before I was so, I guess, deeply steeped in social media and everything. And honestly, I was so young when social media first came popular, I guess, and when I first started using it, I think I was like 13 or 14. And like as a 13, 14-year-old, you don't read the privacy agreement, you don't care. You just, hit accept, like whatever, let me post my pictures. And in hindsight, God, I wish I would have read that stuff, or I wish someone would have told me, because I would not have put really any pictures of myself online, but at this point it's a little bit late for that. Some things that really surprised me, though, I'm going off on a tangent already, but some things that really surprised me was it said in the documentary that fake news spreads 6 times faster on Twitter. That doesn't really surprise me, it's just shocking to see an actual number put to how quickly fake news spreads, and it's so true because, like, real, genuine news, you barely ever see it spread, but then that stupid headline that literally you read it and you know immediately that that's bullshit, and that's the one that you see spread like wildfire because everybody loves an interesting caption. Everybody loves something that, grabs your attention and makes you want to read more, especially those people who are in charge of spreading that stuff. It's just, and that's why I've never had a Twitter account. Okay, that's not why. I just never have had a Twitter account. Unrelated reasons, but now I'm extra not going to get a Twitter account. I'm trying to think of anything else that really stood out to me. I grabbed this other quote from around the 39, 40-minute mark. It said, "We curate our lives around this perceived sense of perfection because we get rewarded in these short-term signals. Hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value, and we conflate that with truth. And instead, what it really is fake, brittle popularity. That's short-term, and that makes you even more vacant and empty than before you did it." That stood out so much to me because it's so true. Everybody feels this need for validation from strangers online, and just validation in general, and I think it's like some sort of a lack in self-worth, and I think that lack of self-worth comes directly from this insane amount of time we spend on our devices and this insane amount of time that we spend online. It's just frustrating, and the whole documentary, honestly, it just made me want to throw my phone into a river, and it made me want to uninstall every single app on it. It made me want to just completely go off the grid and erase myself from virtual existence, which I think that was kind of the purpose of the documentary, or at least to encourage us to use it in moderation, or at least be more aware of what exactly we're posting and who exactly might see what we're posting. Especially, this is kind of off topic too, but I know a lot of young moms, well, not, I guess that young, not that young anymore, but women my age who are still, young women, and they're moms, and they're posting questionable pictures of themselves online, and some of them are even selling that stuff on platforms like OnlyFans or any stuff like that. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, and all I think about is that stuff on the internet doesn't go away. There's someone monitoring that. There's, that's being stored. That's data online, and those pictures are gonna come up again, and for all of those mothers of sons, that's so scary to me. That's really concerning, and something that I think about every once in a while, because these girls are always sharing their links and stuff, and I'm like, you have kids. But whatever, that's not the point. Moving on. So the second question, if screen time is in some sense a plague, what are potential cures? In other words, what can we do about this? I think a couple people already mentioned, and I know Tyson made a comment about it, about government regulation and about, parental regulation and all of that stuff. And I think it's such a tricky conversation to have, because where do you draw the line between, ultimate control and personal freedom and blah, 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 blah. And I think it really does need to be an ongoing conversation, one that I guess kind of changes as our usage of devices change, and as the device themselves change, and as we change. It's a conversation that needs to be ongoing, and I think really it needs to be in response to these issues that are arising, which they are. I would say that it is kind of a plague, not necessarily the devices or the social media or anything themselves, but the way that we're using it and the way that we're clinging to them for this sense of identity and this sense of truth and worth. That is a plague, and that needs to be stopped. And I think that has less to do with monitoring and controlling usage, and more to do with just internal personal work. I think that as a society, all of us have a lot of work to do on ourselves, and I think we need to focus more on that and more on, just being happy within our own lives and enjoying the little things and practicing gratitude and stuff. I think if we all did a little bit more of that, then we wouldn't feel this constant pull to be on our devices, because really, I think that that pull mostly comes from a lack of fulfillment in your own life. And I mean, a lot of the time it is just boredom. And I'll admit that there's been so many times where I am just bored and I could go and do something productive, but instead I'm on my phone. And it is really frustrating because I'm a like jack of all trades, master of none when it comes to hobbies. I have started probably 20 different hobbies over the course of my even just adolescence to adulthood. Even over just the course of my adulthood, I've started and then dropped so many hobbies. And I can guarantee you, if I didn't have social media, if I didn't have a device and video games and all this stuff to escape into, I would probably be adept at most of those hobbies. I could probably play guitar, I could probably paint, I could probably do all of this awesome stuff. I might even speak another language. But instead, I spend like hours in a day scrolling on Facebook, and it is embarrassing to talk about, honestly. But yeah, I will end it off here. Oh, I just wanted to make one more comment too about Emily and Faith. I saw you both commented that you are from a small town in Saskatchewan, and that there's a lot more of a close-knit environment and like more parties and better socialization, I guess, there. And I gotta say, I'm so jealous, because I think maybe there was some elements of that here, but in my grad class specifically, they were very cliquey, and it was pretty much just the rich kids that got to hang out and go and do fun things. And if you weren't rich and you weren't invited, then you didn't get to go and do that stuff. So I think the lack of socialization, the lack of going out and stuff, it really does depend on your social group, I guess, and on your group of your age group, I guess, that you're going to hang out with. Because my age group, unfortunately, was half like ne'er-do-wells who are off just doing nothing useful or good, and I didn't want to hang out with them, or it was half super preppy rich kids who didn't know how to have fun with anyone except for the people that they were raised with, I guess. So they didn't know how to make new friends, and I didn't really want to be their friend either because they were pompous. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents in response to Emily and Faith's comments. There was a couple other good comments, but I can't remember everything that I wanted to say. But I'll stop now because I'm already over the time that I thought I would be at today. Sorry for bombarding you with all of this stuff. Yeah, long story short, that documentary shook me, and so did the text. It was just really good. I thought they tied really well into each other. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I hope everybody has a good week, and I look forward to seeing all of your next videos.